Joe's just hit another record month with us. That was £25,000, which was March 2026. And I love seeing it. It's just like very, very consistent growth. It's been a really cool journey. What's been the key takeaway that you've implemented over the last, say, 4 to 5 months that's made a bit of a shift? What's the key hiring lesson of what you learned so far?
I think the biggest thing is you have to...
Hello, and we are back again with a very familiar face. We have Joe. This is the third testimonial / client interview done. We had one testimonial, which was like a selfie style one. Then we done a client interview, and now we're doing another one for good reason, because Joe's just hit another record month with us, and that was £25,000, which was March 2026. We're now it's the April 9th when we're recording this, so March was a record month, consistently growing, which I think is really cool for people to see, because I think that as you look at agencies online, you see clients on there, but you're not sure, are they still working together, are they not? But obviously we're still going. 10 months down the line from when we originally started. This is the cool thing about Joe, is that he was at zero when we started, because it was a brand new clinic. So he signed, very unique situation. I actually mentioned this on like calls with people about how long it actually took us from when you paid us to when we launched. It was like 3 months or something. It was February 2025, and then we launched in late May or something like that. So yeah, in 10 months you've gone from zero to £25,000, which is very impressive, all doing this on your own. So yeah, welcome back, Joe. Thank you very much for jumping on. I don't know if I mentioned, but yeah, he owns a clinic called JP Chiropractic as well. So
thanks for having me.
Shall we? You can do a little introduction if you want, or say anything to the people who are here.
Well, yeah, obviously I've been here before. I'm based in Nottingham, in a small village outside of Nottingham city centre. And yeah, we joined with Dan back in May 2025. I think we started running the ads. Officially opened start of June. And yeah, I'm 10 months down the line with him. And just hit another record month in March, just gone. So yeah, happy days.
Yeah, I love seeing it. It's just like very, very consistent growth. It's been a really cool journey that you've kind of gone through. I don't know, because I think the last time we did was like in the last it was like 4 or 5 months ago, the last one we did. What was like the key takeaway that because there's definitely been some transitions going on, like hiring team, there's been some good growth, I think like some changes in the way that the clinic's running. Like, what's been the key takeaway that you've implemented over the last, say, 4 to 5 months that's made a bit of a shift?
Yeah, we've had a bit of a change within the business over the last couple of months. We've hired a couple of new staff, and I think sort of from the last time we did this, Dan, it was November before that, and then we had, with the changes in the background, I think I took my foot off the gas. So December, January, February was a bit slower, and I hold my hand up for a lot of the things. It's when I take my foot off the gas or my eye off the ball, whatever you want to say, you notice a little bit of a drop in that patient, either retention or the patient sign-up care. But we took on, like I say, two new staff in March, and start of March, end of March time, and that's just let me come back into what I prefer to do, and that is be a chiropractor. And then that's obviously just, I think because we were going out of that unknown area back into the happy area, it just helped me progress back in and focus purely on the patients.
So in that time where things were a little bit slower, you took your eye off the ball, were you like jumping in and doing like more admin than actually just like what you like doing as well?
Yeah, so me and my wife run the business. I'm the chiropractor, she calls me I'm just a chiropractor. That's what I'm
the power duo.
She's very good at the background stuff, but obviously when we're hiring and changing things in the background, I have to sit down with her and focus on that a lot as well. So that's where I think I took my eye off the ball. So it's like your head's not 100% in what you need to do to continue to grow.
Yeah.
Whereas now, hopefully, I can just focus on the straight and narrow and getting patients well again.
Well, once your like new CAs are completely ramped up and they're just like focusing, like it's obviously you've met Bailey on our client success team, and he's now kind of doing what a CA does for you. Like he manages all the sort of communication, the meetings, and what that means is I can now just focus on our business and like the key things that are going to drive the business forward. And it's the exact same thing for you, that you can just focus on those sort of higher leverage activities. Yeah. Which is what the things that other people, you can't delegate that. You can't delegate the adjusting, you can't delegate the conversion of patients. Yeah. what's the key hiring lesson? Because I know you had one. This is not like you're in your second batch now. What's the key hiring lesson of what you learned so far?
Well, the two new ones are very early on with us still. We took a longer process this time around. Like the first time, we found someone that we thought we gelled with, we thought we liked, and she was good. It just wasn't the perfect fit for us. So this time we had CV sent over, we had a video tell us why you want the job first of all, why you're interested in the role. Then we met them, and we got them back in for trial days. So we took your time, I think, hiring the correct fit this time a bit more. And I think the biggest thing is you have to, for me, what I think is you have to gel with them. You have to like them as a person.
It's that culture.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the ones that we've taken on seem great. They're both very friendly. They're very approachable for people as well. So hopefully they'll just sort of keep continuing to grow and help the business grow as well.
How many interviews did you do to find the two you've got right now?
We had, I think we only had 5. I think we only had 5 people because we were quite sort of cutthroat. So I think we had around 45 people apply and send us the videos. And there was some real good quality candidates that came in as well. But we went over and over the videos over and over again until we thought, right, we've just got to go bare minimum. Then we can reach back out if we don't think any of those work as well. So, yeah,
and I also think that hiring two is quite smart.
Yeah, and I think it gives us more flexibility. Yeah, it's if we've only got one, if they go off sick or on holiday, we're back to sort of square one. Whereas if
Get me on the phone, Joe.
I'll be giving you a call down to get you in.
It's not you. You wouldn't be the first person to ask us doing stuff like that. But just so everyone's clear, we don't actually do anything like that because it's it's a slight headache handling inbound calls for clients. There's a lot of variables to it. But I do think that the way you've gone about it is you need to have some. It's kind of like how we qualify leads. You want to do the same thing for qualifying candidates and applications for a job role. You want them to jump through hoops. The more hoops they jump through, the more quality they are, and the more willing they are, which is obviously one of the key things you're looking for is will. Like, are they willing to put the work in? Are they going to work hard? That's one of the key things I definitely look for when I'm hiring as well.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the will, because we had one person who sent a great CV over, and again, CVs are very hard for me to read. I like to look at people and trust people by their personality. But we had someone who ticked a lot of boxes with it, and then we said, can you send us the video over of yourself, just telling you there's a little bit about yourself, and I said, no, video is not for me. And for me, we just want a friendly face, and if they're not willing to put a video and a face to the name on the application, what's the point in getting them to interview them?
Exactly. It's like everyone is. It's like the first date, right? Like on an interview, and in that early stage, like that is their best. That is their best. It's only really going to go down over a long enough period of time.
Yeah.
Like unless maybe we just haven't found like the proper. And it's definitely people who do impress us more than we were expecting. But everyone's like they're like me right now. They got their shirt on. They've done their hair. I haven't really done my hair very well actually, but it's all that sort of stuff. And so they're going to be putting as much will as they possibly can. Their replies should be as quick as they possibly can. You like any sort of mistake if they're late at all. Like I just won't have like nothing like that, because it's just those early signs that just compounds and it's just increased exponentially as time goes on. They just start slacking in the business. So you want to find people who are literally perfect in the interviewing and process, really.
Yes. Yeah, I agree there.
Did you have any, did you pay any mentorship, or did you just figure out how, because those sort of steps that you went through, like adding the video, they're quite logical, like good steps that we've implemented. I paid someone to learn how to hire people. Like you do the ad, then you have the form, they do the video, they send the CV. Sometimes you might do like a group interview. So you had them come into the clinic, right? And you did like a group setting, did you?
Yes. No, we didn't have people come in for the group setting. We got them in individually to the clinic. But yeah, in terms of mentorship, no, just speaking to chiropractors that I know, what is their interview process. And I think the video process was something that Joanna, my partner, she came up with, and I think it was a great one because again, you can read a CV, you can put 3,000 words on there and be the best employee, but you can't say hello to somebody. It's not the right job to be a CA or a front desk, is it, at that point? Because they're going to be the face of the business for a lot of the time.
Yeah, yeah. And then have you got any like key KPIs you're going to be implementing for them to make sure that they're on track? Because this is actually a question I've never asked anyone before. I actually have no clue. Like, is there like metrics you're tracking with the CAs to make sure they're doing things properly?
No, there's nothing we're tracking. I mean, at the minute, obviously, we start with the probation period just to make sure everything's good with them. But as they go forward, we're going to implement like a bonus scheme with them. But that's based on the performance of the clinic, not them individually. Again, I'm a big believer. Like, if I can be just left to do what we're doing here and just people, and they can take care of everything else, it's a whole team effort. So we'll reward the whole team rather than just individuals at that point.
I really like that, where you're just like everyone's then going in the right direction. You really want to incentivize people on what you want, which is obviously growth in the clinic.
Yeah.
So I think that makes a lot of sense. So that's one of the big changes on like the hiring side of things. Anything in terms of what you're doing in the room you're in currently right now, or are you still just doing the same thing because you're just repeating successful actions?
Yeah, I'm generally repeating the same things. I'm now sending out a little report to patients in between day 1 and day 2, and it's just indicating sort of their subluxations, their problem areas, with a bit of research. So something I use of James Chestnut's, and he calls it the Chiropractic Spinal Health Assessment. So it's a really good thing. It points out their problem areas. It gives us a research of why we do what we do. So they're coming in to their day 2 primed even better. And I think that helps, because a lot of that will talk about the research, how 50% of the people are only going to be 50% better at 12 visits in. So people are understanding it's not just all of a sudden when they're walking into day 2, it's not one adjustment, we feel $1 million, we're not going to come back. And again, don't get me wrong, we are going to still get some people who just want 1 or 2 adjustments. But people are understanding more that it's a process and it's a health journey. But yeah, I'm still doing the same thing. I get them in for day 1, we have a good chat, we examine them, prod and poke at them, so to speak, and find out where the problems are. Send them away until day 2, then we get them back and tell them the problems, and just tell them the truth. Tell them the truth, what they need and what they need to get better, and people follow through generally.
Yeah, I remember from the first one, like, and I recommend everyone who's watching this now, because I know that wasn't like the most in-depth explanation of what Joe does. We did that on the previous interview, so I won't go into it now. But if you want to know like what Joe's doing, just go back, watch the other interview. But I think going back to like the nurturing sequence, or like where you're sending them that report and that you're priming them, I think this is one of the most underrated things to do in business. Like, we've only just implemented this for our business, where we're sending people like a lot of emails before they jump on a call with me, so they have all the information, all their questions are answered. And you want to do a similar thing for your report findings, in my opinion, too. And I guess that report does that.
Yeah. It's telling them exactly what they're going to be coming in for and what to expect in a roundabout way. And I was listening to something from
I love that.
Tony Robbins the other day, and he was saying about the Harvard study about the hot and cold coffee. I won't go down that route. I'll ruin the story if I try to. But
write this down.
He's basically saying how we're all already primed for everyday life and everyday thought process. It's that subliminal message that people aren't picking up on. So if we can prime our patients of what to expect going forward on day 1, day 2, they're going to be buying into the care and looking after themselves.
Yeah, and this is what I did for anyone who's interested, and I guess you could apply this to chiropractic too. If you get objections, now I know some chiropractors don't believe objections are a thing, and some do, but if you're getting objections, what you want to do is try and pre-handle those objections in that report, most likely. So the key things they're coming up, like probably one of them is like, I wasn't expecting to have to do 12 sessions. So it's like just pre-handle that in the report, and then it's done. And then like they already know beforehand, and when you bring it up, it's not a surprise.
Yeah, and again, it's if they've got objections, it's more than likely that you've not told them what to expect going forward. And I think the 2 biggest objections in chiropractic is time and money. It's always a time and money. I can't get over 2 or 3 or 4 times a week, whatever people are recommending, or they haven't got the finances. And then it's a case of you can always ask that question, well, if you could get over 3 times a week, how would it look? So you're sort of opening the door for them to sort of plan the diary a little bit differently.
and just seeing if it's possible, right? And then like you're getting like, then you get a maybe, and then a maybe could turn into a yes, and you're just like sort of stepping through it slowly.
Yeah.
I also think for people as well, like it's good to decipher between like money and value as well. Like sometimes people like they might have the money to do it, but they're just valuing other things, and you have to like go against, and like, not go against, but you have to try and help them through and seeing the value. But usually people should see this value if you've done your day 1, your report, and your day 2 properly. Value probably shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, and I think I said this on the last one as well. If I could hit every key phrase, every PowerPoint, I could prime you perfectly, and you could still come to me on day 2 and I say I want to see you for 24 or 32 visits, whatever I say, you can still say no to me. And that's your personal choice. And if you're not buying into why we do what we do here, you're not going to get the results you expect. There's always going to be back and forth. So I think if people aren't ready to take up the care and your recommendations, let them go. And if you let them go happily and openly, they're going to come back to you when they are ready.
It gives that vibe of like almost like that like abundant vibe of like you just have the abundance that it's just like, yeah, it's fine. We don't need you to come right now. Come back whenever you're ready. The door's always open. I think you mentioned that on the last one, which is always a good thing to implement, I think, and it's something I've consistently heard from a lot of clients I've done these interviews with as well. I think Simon on his interview said a similar thing, like the door's always open, and then eventually they come, and like sometimes it'll be 10 years later, and you'll probably find that as your practice like goes on for that long. In 10 years we'll find out if you're a patient that we've sent Joe, they didn't convert on the second day, and they come back 10 years later.
It's possible, and I think, I don't know if I mentioned it again, so I get coached by Tim Young, and he's always said, you don't need them, they need you. I mean, and that's a very scary thought process to have when you're brand new to business. You've got no one coming through the door, because you do need people to keep the business alive. But I understand the mindset of that completely, because if you're desperately trying to persuade a patient into taking up care, they're going to feel the desperation in the voice, and they're thinking, well, they only want my money at this point. Whereas, again, going back to it's the money and the value of it, isn't it? If they don't believe in the value of you, they're never going to believe what you say.
And I think that with Tim Young, it makes a lot of sense, because I mentioned Simon just then. Simon does Tim Young's coaching, and so do you. So that makes sense of why that's the same. I think that abundance mindset is really what you need. And me and Jake I mentioned a lot of different client interviews, but it's interesting that they all interlink. They're all very similar. We were talking about frequency, which is like it's very related to your thoughts and like that, what vibe and what you're emitting to the person. Yeah. And it's the same. It's all the same stuff, just kind of packaged slightly differently, probably.
Yeah. And I think that's what all the greats say. The big voices in the profession, they all say the same thing, just in a different way. Mm-hmm. And there's no denying it. I think the way the practices can be this far apart, but the whole philosophy is the same. The whole philosophy is the same. They're still adjusting people to get them well. They're still saying the same things, and they tell people what they need to hear, rather than trying to sugarcoat. Like, you can come as and when, and we'll get you better. Because there's no point in saying that to people.
Exactly. Yeah, you need to guide them, right? That's at least my perspective. It's the same with our clients, so we need to guide them about how they're going to be able to continuously get good results and get new patients, and sometimes that means they need to do things they haven't done before, and we just jump on a call like this and we'll figure it out, and it's the exact same thing with your patients, and that's what you're here for. Yeah. I think it's the quote of, and I said this at the start of my UCA talk that I did, it's like people need to be reminded more than they need to be taught. Like, everyone's saying very similar things, but it's because it worked. Yeah. I love that quote. It's one of my favourites. So like when I hear something again, I don't find that annoying. I think, oh, that's good, especially if I'm not implementing it, because it's a great reminder, because you just need to be reminded, because there's so many things we all should be doing. We're not doing everything right now, because if we were, we'd have 100k a month practice, for example. So you have to just be reminded, then you implement one thing, and then you need to be reminded again, and you implement the other, and eventually then you'll get there, and you've got the practice that you want. Have you got a goal? Like, what is the goal for the practice over the next 12 months, 5 years, 10 years?
I mean, in terms of collections, I've not got a full goal. I mean, I'm in the process for the 200 a week mark for patient visits. I'm sat around 150 this week. So I think within the next 3 to 6 months I want to make that happen. That's a goal for that. Obviously collections will grow if we see more patients, it's inevitable. But yeah, I always want to get the practice sort of self-sufficient, and we're more on a wellness process then, where people are just coming back for their wellness visits every couple of weeks, every monthly, and then the new patients are just a nice little top up, so to speak, and then we can get those well and get them into that wellness place. For me, it's all about helping people improve their health. That's what I want people to achieve and come away from that medical model as much as they can.
Yeah, and I think that is the greatest mindset to have, and I love being able to work with chiropractors and help people change their health, their lives, and get embedded in this mindset, and our team love it too. So yeah, 200 visits per week, and then so when you said you want this practice to be self-sustaining, that was my question. So is it that you want your salary, your wife's salary, CA's salary, overheads all to be covered from maintenance care and the new patients?
Yeah, that's the plan. And I mean, you know my practice. So we're called the Wellness Shed, and JP Chiropractic's within the Wellness Shed. So we've got the chiropractic side of things, we've got a red light therapy bed, and we've got Reformer Pilates studio. So the whole the thought process behind it being self-sufficient is the other two therapies, whatever you call them, red light therapy, the Pilates, they cover the overheads, and then the chiropractic side of things can then just become profit to the business, and we can invest and grow from there as well. That's what I want with the being self-sufficient and sustaining at that point.
How far away do you think from that? Do you think you will have that in the next 3 to 6 months?
I think so, yeah. I mean, the other two therapists, they're covering the instructors' wages, they're covering the rent at the minute, so that's doing all right. We've just got to cover the new girls' bills as well on top of that. But we are looking at growing and implementing a few other things outside of it. But away from the chiropractic game, so I won't bore you with that now.
It's cool. It is a cool model though. I like that, and it's good because you're paying to get patients. You pay us to get you new patients, and I know that sometimes patients that are coming in for chiropractic are then also going to your other services as well. So you're just increasing your LTV, and that LTV would be going somewhere else. So if you can keep it under that one roof, it makes a lot of sense. And it's something that doesn't really dilute what you're doing, because I don't think you have much involvement in that process. At least now, I think at the start you might have.
Yeah,
now not so much.
And again, when we first started out, I was running front desk, I was doing the calls before we got you guys to take over my calls for me.
Yes.
I was doing payments, I was setting up packages and memberships and putting people on the red light bed here, there and everywhere. Now, thankfully enough, we've got the girls who can do all that. They're doing all the bookings, taking all the payments, and yeah, now I'm back into just adjusting, so to speak. I say just adjusting.
Definitely a full-time role.
Chiropractor again.
Yeah. Which is really cool, and it means that obviously working for yourself, you get to keep the full thing, which is great. So yeah, it's puts you in a very, very good spot. Well, Joe, that was an absolute pleasure. I do again really appreciate you jumping on. I know you've already done 2 testimonials for us. You've already said some good things early on today. I'm assuming because we're on this call, you're still recommending us to other people. So. You are actually. I think we said the other day you had a conversation with Bailey, and there was someone who's interested that you were mentioning.
Yeah. Still pushing people your way if I'm talking to anyone. I'm 10 months in, just over 10 months in now, and we again, like I said earlier, I had a drop off December, January, February. That's a me thing, the time of the year thing as well. But yeah, we're just sustaining growth, and even through those months, patients were still coming through the door for me. I think it was more a case of I wasn't 100% on those, and they probably picked up on it. I probably lost out on a few. So yeah, regardless, I've been with them 10 months. We're still growing, and the patients are still coming through the door as well now. I mean, I've not looked into next week, but I know I've got a few new patients already scheduled and booked in. We've got a free spine check weekend this weekend. We've got a few people scheduled for that as well. So yeah, 100% recommend.
Amazing. Yeah, it's what's the date right now? We're on the 9th, and we've had 8 bookings so far in April, and then obviously you've still got the screening event which we're running alongside, which is then going to be some additional patients from that as well. And so yeah, things are definitely in a good spot. And I think it's something that is interesting to bring up as well, is because like I remember we did have a call where there was a slight dip. I think it was January that you mentioned, and that was on our side as well.
Yeah.
And it definitely happens that if you work with us over 12 months, it's going to be ups and there's going to be some downs, but it's just about mellowing those downs as much as we can. Then we implemented the screenings for you, and I was very confident that would get you back up, and it did. Yeah. And so it's one of those things where you had to trust us in that process, because I know it was a bit of a stage like, oh, things are down a little bit, so what do we do here? And the good thing is because we've done it so many times, like you weren't the first client. I mentioned this to you on the call. You're not the first client that we've gone through this process. You're probably a 10th or the 15th or something. And so we're very confident that it will work every step, because we just know what levers to pull in each situation, which means we can have a lot of longevity, which is what we're seeing now.
And a bit like what I said to you before we jumped on this on the recording as well, it's like I was having a chat with Bailey the other week, and he was telling me all the things that are happening behind the scenes, and it's great, and he's passionate about it. And I said to him, I said, that's great. I said, I mean it as respectfully as I can. I don't care. Like, you're doing your job, you're getting me patients in, and like, if you trust the process, you get rewarded as well, I think, don't you?
Exactly, and you're really good at that, and it does, like when we have that sort of flexibility, it helps us massively. So yeah, appreciate you being such an amazing client, Jay, and appreciate you coming on. If you have any final words, or if people want to reach out to you or anything like that, the floor is yours.
No final words really. Just if anyone's listening to this and you are on the fence with them, just book the call with Dan. Just have a chat with them, and then you can go from there. If your clinic's sort of flatlining or not growing, they will get your people through the door. That's what I can say.
Appreciate it. And yeah, well, we can always figure something out. We figured something out with Joe where it's 3 months until we launched, so we can wait. We can be very patient. So yeah, appreciate you jumping on, Joe. Pleasure as always. And when we reach the next goal, we'll probably jump on again. See you soon, man.
Perfect. Take care, Dan.